shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the Record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the Record.
For the Record. For the Record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd day of April 2020. I hope and I trust that everyone had a peaceful, restful evening. Those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. If you've celebrated one in the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday as well. I think there was a lady, Miss Ebanks, 102 years old, and Mr. Miller probably won't mention this, but I'll mention it for you. His mother yesterday was 90 years old as well. So I want to say, happy birthday to your mother as well. So if you're celebrating a birthday today, or if you celebrated one, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Those of you who have lost loved ones, it's very difficult to lose a loved one at any point in time during the COVID-19 lockdown. It is even more difficult in terms of because of the necessary restrictions that have been put in place in relation to gatherings. So you have that additional burden on yourself as well. But again, we hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these very challenging times as well. If you're on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we again urge you to please be extremely cautious. Despite the fact that there may be less traffic on the road, does not in any way mean that you should drive any faster or you should be any less careful on the road than you normally are. We're continuing to see accidents occurring on the roads with lesser traffic on the roads as well. We see cyclists being knocked off their bikes as well. So again, we're urging you to please be extremely cautious, because remember that the life you save may be your own. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I need not remind you that For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During those times, our phone lines are always open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson to take your calls. The numbers you can call us on: our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Before I introduce my guest this morning, just want to give you an update on the COVID-19 press briefing yesterday that was held, and just a summary of what was discussed. There were no results reported as the Health Services Authority was testing their machines. Their testing machines, were undergoing scheduled maintenance. Also, the testing of frontline personnel, we were advised, is ongoing. And also, the governor gave details about the support delegation arriving next week from the UK. And also the Premier laid out arrangements for this week's meeting at the Legislative Assembly, one taking place this morning, and then another one a virtual meeting, I believe, taking place on Thursday as well. So now I will introduce my guest, none other than MLA Mr. Ezra Miller, who is with us this morning, and I want to remind you that he will be with us until about 9:30, after which he will have to leave to go to the Legislative Assembly because he's one of the 10 members of the Legislative Assembly who will be at that meeting this morning. And the reason for 10 is simply because they want to be able to practice social distancing. And within that number of 10 members of the Legislative Assembly, you have the independents who will be there represented. We have the official opposition to be represented, and the government will have some of their representatives as well. So I'll leave all of that for Mr. Miller to explain to you. So, Mr. Miller, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C., and thanks for having me, and good morning to the listening Cayman. And yeah, we're having, and the reason for 10, of course, is that that's a quorum.
Quorum, yes.
And nothing would be legal if it wasn't a quorum present. And then the plan is that 10 of us will attend today, and we will amend the standing orders, which will allow to facilitate the other 8 on Zoom or some other electronic platform that they may choose to attend the meeting tomorrow, so that everybody will have an opportunity to look at the bills that are being put before the Legislative Assembly. I think there are 4 in total, or 5. So it's going to be a little different, but thanks to technology, the others will be able to take part. Otherwise, I guess in the absence of technology, we'd have to rotate and let other people come in and go out.
And at this meeting today, who will sit in the chair?
I think Mr. Anthony Eden, the representative for Savannah, has agreed. Standing orders allows for the members present to elect somebody in the absence of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. So we don't have a Deputy Speaker right now.
Right.
The Speaker is on extended leave of some sort. So what the first order of business this morning, will be that those 10 who are there, and I guess it'll be 11 at the time, will elect Mr. Eden to sit in the chair for today's meeting.
Yes.
Because the standing order says for the sitting, and a sitting is from when you start in the morning until whenever you finish that day. A meeting is a series of sittings.
Right.
So the fact that it is per sitting, we'll have to do the same thing over on tomorrow morning
Thursday
as well, so that he can sit in the chair. And then tomorrow, at the end of the business period, we're going to elect a new deputy speaker. So that's what, and we'll be following the rules and the laws, and we'll get it done. Extraordinary times require extraordinary effort.
And we see the UK is doing similar
Absolutely.
things as well. I believe they have allowance for 50 MPs to sit in the chambers They have the social distancing. They have some red marks on the seats where you're not allowed to sit, for social distancing. And then I think provisions are being made for like 170 of them to be elsewhere to follow the proceedings. So, everyone has had to be innovative with this, and they didn't have really anything that allowed for it to a certain extent either. When you research Erskine May doesn't have anything that relates to to this as well. So, but it is good.
Yeah, and it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be not without its own electronic challenges, and the speaker will have to invent a methodology, or we agree to some order of speaking, so that those people who are out of the chamber and so I believe that we should always maintain the 10 people quorum in the Legislative Assembly. Mm-hmm. I guess once we change the standing orders, it would still be legal if they weren't all there. But I'm just I think that we should have the 10 people there sitting in the alley with the speaker, and not have the speaker there without a quorum.
On Thursday
as well, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
That would be my recommendation to the government, is that we make sure we have 10 people there, and that the speaker remains in the chair, and the speaker's not operating from some remote place on Zoom as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there likely to be with that suggestion, if it were accepted, would there be any challenges in terms of determining who those 10 would be?
No, but I mean, for instance, I would be quite willing to change my place, to rotate out if somebody else wanted to come in on Thursday. But I believe that there should be 10 people there, and to my knowledge, there's been no problem and no disgruntlement the way the 10 have been selected. You remember that it was first brought up by us several weeks ago. Mm-hmm. You and I discussed it. That was my recommendation. Yes. 6 from the government and 4 from the opposition. Mm-hmm.
And you've been able to fit both independent members and the opposition to allow them to be present as well.
Yeah, and I mean, if the opposition member who is absent today wants to come in tomorrow, I would be quite happy to switch places for, if that was something that they wanted. But I mean, we all have our differences down there, political differences. But when it becomes necessary, we really look
to
at
get together. Yes.
Overall,
yeah. Now, as far as the debate is concerned, between today and tomorrow, are we likely to see a lot of debate?
But I don't suspect there's going to be any debate on the standing order motion. Right. Well, first of all, that does not allow, the standing orders specifically prohibit any debate on that motion.
Okay.
What the procedure is, that the Premier will move a motion to amend standing orders to allow for electronic attendance to meetings and whatever the wording is. Once he moves that motion, the Speaker automatically refers it to a select committee of the House, right? The select committee of the House has to then go and meet and discuss whatever changes need to be made, agree, table a report back to the LA. When the report is tabled, a motion would be moved to accept the report. Once the report is accepted, that would mandate the changes to the standing order, and it would become effective as soon, because we still have this little quirk, which is one of the things, remember, we're trying to take out in the changes to the Constitution, where the standing order changes have to be approved by the governor.
Okay.
So we'll have to get it up to him, and he will have to approve it before it actually comes into effect.
I see.
So the little quirks that we're going to have to deal with, for instance, you can't have a meeting of a committee while the legislative session is in session without the Speaker of the House permission. So we'll have to get the Speaker of the House permission to go and meet as a select committee on the standing orders at the same time, while the House is suspended.
Right.
And then we can come back then and table the report. I shouldn't suspect it's going to take any more than we should be finished by lunchtime.
Okay, well, that
Tomorrow there's probably, I can assure you there's going to be some debate on the pension bill.
And
the other ones, the one that the amendment to the labor law is a little bit troubling to me. But if it's only for this period of time, I can live with it. In that the current labor law, I think, says that if you furlough somebody for more than 30 days, it's considered that you've terminated employment and you have to pay them their severance package. So what they're doing, and I must confess that I really haven't yet done all the research on it because I only got these bills last night on the labor law. But I think what they're doing is they're going to extend that to 60 days, as long as that is only for this period. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Same thing with the traffic law amendment, which will allow the people you to relicense your car, although it hasn't been inspected. All those things, I assume the government is going to put have what we call a sunset clause, right?
Provision, yes. Yeah.
The pension law has a sunset clause in it.
Yep.
30th of November.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. And the conversation with MLA Mr. Ezard Miller will continue after this short commercial break.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Cayman's public library system started in Georgetown in 1920 when the government included an annual grant of £40 in the budget for the establishment of a subscription library. The library was located in a room above the old jail next to the old courthouse. At the end of 1937, plans were made for building a larger library at Georgetown to include reading and reference rooms. The new building was designed by Captain Rayo Bodden and completed in 1939. The distinctive timbered ceilings was fashioned after a ship's hull turned upside down. The ends of the hammer beams are decorated with the shields of prominent British institutions of learning. The new library opened its doors to the public in 1940, and for a long time the main source of printed matter was the Ranfurly Library in England. Lady Ranfurly, wife of a colonial governor, started the project of collecting used books for shipment to British territories where books were in short supply. In 1980, the first trained librarian took over the running of the public library.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Saturday, March 7, made a difference to 601 persons who benefited from a free mini-medical including diabetes, blood pressure checks, and other conditions. Through your generosity and participation, Rotary Central Health Check 2020 made the difference to 7 persons, directing them to immediate medical attention and treatment. 240 persons were referred to their physicians for care and guidance. 93 persons were screened as new blood donors, new lifesavers. With your kind assistance, March 4 and March 5, Rotary Central hosted 20 healthcare professionals, physicians, nurses, and pharmacists from 8 countries, including the Cayman Islands. They completed Part 1 training to qualify as Caribbean Certified Diabetes Educators. The Rotary Central Health Check 2020 and the Rotary Diabetes Educators Program, doing our part, helping our community to stay healthy. Remember, keep your distance, keep safe, keep faith, stay home. Rotary Club Central. Together we shall overcome.
I remember playing at 7 Mile Beach as a boy, eating mango by the sea, learning how to snorkel. My mother, she worked so hard to provide for our family so that we could have those moments. Seeing her age has been tough. That strong, capable woman, now in need of daily support, it's my time to be strong for her.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of the careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Vamped Motors encourages everyone to stay home in compliance with our government's directives, which are absolutely critical to protect our islands from the coronavirus. In light of this, Vamped Motors will be closed until our Cayman Islands government gives us the all clear to return to work. Please, everyone, be safe and let's get through this together by staying apart.
Sending money to your family overseas shouldn't be a full-day process. Stop waiting in lines. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide, offering 3 convenient locations: Shedden Road, Baden Water Sports in West Bay, and at FIS BRAC Agency in Cayman Brac. MoneyGram by Financial Integrated Services. Visit FISCayman.com for more information on MoneyGram services. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, MLA, Mr. Ezard Miller. We have about 8 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. So I would suggest that if you're planning on calling, please call after the 8 o'clock news rather than calling now, because you wouldn't have sufficient time to discuss anything. So I'm going to continue the discussion with Mr. Miller. And I just want to also advise you, you heard us speaking earlier about today's meeting of the Legislative Assembly as well as tomorrow's planned meeting of the Legislative Assembly. And I want to let you know that you can view the proceedings live on CIG TV, YouTube channel on CIG TV YouTube channel. You can listen live on Radio Cayman's Breeze station. That's 105.3 FM, and you can also follow it via cable from Logic channel 23. C3, Channel 3, and Flow, Channel 106 as well. So you will be able to follow the proceedings. Some of you may not have any excuse as to not follow it other than not having the devices to do so, because most of you are at home. And even if you're working from home, you can take that little time off from the work to listen or watch as well. I think we have enough time, Mr. Miller, to talk about the op-ed that you wrote at Cayman News Services website.
The reason I penned that, OC, was I really have some serious concerns that if we simply give to unemployed people a lump sum, which is an arbitrary amount, it doesn't appear to be linked to their salaries that they were getting. I think that sum of money, and if we just give them the cash and a lump sum with no restrictions, it's not being paid out on a monthly basis for 4 or 6 months, that come 2 months from now, the money is going to be spent.
People are going to be
We're just human beings. That's how we are. And then we're back to square one. And they're going to start showing back up at NAU, which is why I recommended, and I have never supported people being allowed to draw cash from their pension because it is inevitably going to reduce the amount of pension you get when you really need it. Mm-hmm. And if you take out now, if you wipe out your pension now because you have less than $10,000, it is very unlikely, unless you're in your 20s, right, that you're going to recover before you reach the age of retirement to where you're going to get a reasonable pension. So what I was suggesting was that we put the pension money, get the pension providers to put the pension money in the local financial institutions under conditions. First condition being that they're going to pay 0.5% on the cash deposit.
So, if I can interrupt for a second, this money would be what the aggregate of what would have been paid out to all of the pensioners.
And I recommend it even be more.
Okay.
Because I think the only source we are going to have for money over the next year to stimulate the local economy is pension funds. Mm-hmm. The idea that we're going to be attracting people coming down and putting fixed deposits on, et cetera, and we need cheap, long-term money for Caymanian entrepreneurs to get going and get this economy, this domestic economy going up. Mm-hmm. Because what we've done in the last 25 years is we've provided unlimited incentives for inward investment while ignoring the local entrepreneurs and their development, and they have become less and less, and there's been less and less Caymanian ownership of businesses for the local economy. Mm-hmm. So what I was suggesting was we put the money in a 15-year or 20-year CD at the bank, so it's long-term money, and you get the bank to fund the salary, the payroll of the businesses that are closed because government shut them down. Mm-hmm. The ones that are open should not need any help. They're getting income and everything else, and they should be able to run their business. But what we need for the people who are now unemployed because of the government closing down the business is a continued income stream. They need to continue to get their salaries so they can pay their electricity bill, they can pay their telephone bill, they can pay their water bill, they can pay their mortgages, yes. They can go to the supermarket, right? So the way I would like to see it done is, okay, the bank gets this, whatever number turns out to be, 58 a million, whatever it is, over a 15 to 20 year long-term deposit. I have a business, small business that I run. I don't have one, but I'm just using it as an example.
Yes.
My payroll at the end of February was $5,000 for the month. I should be able to go to the bank that I have a relationship with who has been handling my payroll for me, whether I go in and collect the cash and little envelopes to pay people, or I write checks, or I do direct deposit.
Right.
That relationship is already established. So I can go to my bank and say, listen, the government has gotten the pension providers, and it's only 5 or 6 of them, to deposit this money here with you long term. I would like you to fund my payroll for the next 6 months. Because I think it's going to be that 4 to 6 months period that we need to start getting businesses cranked back up locally. At the end of that 6 months, whatever that sum turns out to be is converted to a 5-year loan at 1%. Mm-hmm. Only 0.5% above what the bank is paying on the pension money. And it's a 5-year loan, but it's a 1-year moratorium on payments of principal and interest. Because it then gives the business, if your business has not recovered in 18 months to where you can pay back that small loan to the bank, then you need to close business down, right? But
what collateral? What collateral does the bank have?
The pension money, because all of us have the pension money is there,
yes.
Right?
Got you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And most businesses already have collateral at banks,
yes,
right?
Yes.
The banks already have collateral for them, right? So, but what it does is it retains your pension money. You don't draw it down. And if we go back, and one of the things that I would like to see the Director of Pensions publish is how many people who got that 35,000 or less from their pension plans 10 years ago, it was 2010 we did that, right, have paid back anything, or what percentage has been paid back, and how many people got out of the financial quagmire they were in.
Yes.
Information I have from the EIU is that there's some 80% of people who are still having problems with their mortgages.
Okay. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned. Very, very good conversation taking place with the MLA, Mr. Ezra Miller. We'll be back right after the 8 o'clock news.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Did you know that Value Med Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with Value Med. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. Value Med on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. While public health officials have not been able to identify any major patterns from the positive COVID-19 results to date, of which there are 66 in the country, Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee says they have seen clusters.
They're scattered all across the island. There have definitely been clusters. There's no question about it. There have been some areas that we've been known have been linked to a particular event or a particular address for one particular reason or another.
Right now, hundreds of frontline workers are being tested, which Dr. Lee hopes will provide additional insight into the prevalence of COVID-19 in the Cayman community. The second planned British Airways Airbridge flight is confirmed to arrive this Tuesday.
We'll depart on Wednesday, 29th of April at 18:05, making a brief stop in the Turks and Caicos to collect passengers there and then returning to London.
As you heard live right here on Radio Cayman during yesterday's COVID-19 press briefing, His Excellency Governor Martin Roper said the plane would be bringing much-needed medical equipment, including extraction kits and swabs, as well as a number of Caymanians back home.
All those who have registered with the emergency travel line will be sent a link to book tickets on that plane. And then we will be sharing the website. It's a new system for booking the tickets this time. We'll be sharing that website with the general public. So there is no need to contact the travel helpline at the present time.
As we've reported on Radio Cayman, they will be allowing pets on this flight, and the details will be forwarded with a link, which will be shared today. Supervising their children's lessons at home while working is proving a learning experience for many parents, as full home-based learning kicked off some weeks ago to help stem the spread of coronavirus with the school shutdown. But what help is available to parents working from home who are unable to supervise their children's learning? Minister for Education, the Honourable Juliana O'Connor Connolly, says some schools, both public and private, are able to provide online classes to students, but this isn't always possible, especially to younger children.
In many cases, teachers, as mentioned, have their own children as well to take care of, but they're still going beyond the call of duty to reach their children in their respective classes. However, parents are also encouraged to contact their class teachers or school principals to inquire about the availability of additional support.
More so, as of today, the minister says many parents have not responded to the survey. She says less than 1,500 have actually responded, and there are over 5,000 students in the public school system. Minister O'Connor Connolly urges parents to do what they need to for their children's education.
Parents, please step up to the plate and respond to the principals so that we can have an accurate assessment of which children, which households are still in need of the various facilities and assistance to allow our children to have the best possible education.
With no end in sight, the Minister for Education says home-based learning may continue throughout the school term. In other news, a 43-year-old man from West Bay has been charged with 6 offenses after an incident in the district on Friday. The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service says officers were on patrol when they came upon a small gathering at a home and stopped to speak to those present about social distancing. A 43-year-old man was there. He got up to leave and told the officers he was heading home, which was in breach of curfew. Against the advice of the officers, he left the home, but he was then stopped, at which point the RCIPS says he waved a machete at officers while threatening their lives and attempting to attack them. For his efforts, he was tased, subdued, and arrested, after which he was taken into custody and held pending further investigation. He has since been charged with threats to kill, 3 counts of causing fear or provocation of violence, disorderly conduct, and breach of curfew. He appeared in court on Tuesday via video link, where he was remanded in custody. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. Parliament in Spain is debating a request from the Prime Minister to extend the coronavirus lockdown. The country, one of the worst hit in the world, has been under severe restrictions for more than 5 weeks. The request would extend the state of emergency until the 9th of May. Governors of 19 northern Nigerian states have shut down all traditional Quranic schools in an effort to slow the spread of the coronavirus. The estimated 9 million children attending the schools will be sent home. Many Muslim parents in Nigeria send their children to other towns and villages to learn the Quran. The government of Zimbabwe says retailers have agreed to freeze prices on essential goods to help those suffering the economic effects of the pandemic. Food prices have increased sharply in recent weeks, with bread going up by 50%. And those are the latest stories from BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Need to make an essential outing for personal care items or prescription refill? Make Value Med Pharmacy your stop for essential products. Open daily under new curfew-restricted hours. Visit Value Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or in Boddentown. Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Boddentown location opens at 8:30 a.m. And on Sundays and holidays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. A maximum of 3 customers allowed in store, and customers are encouraged to maintain social distancing while shopping. For faster prescription service, order online through value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Saturday, March 7, made a difference to 601 persons who benefited from a free mini-medical including diabetes, blood pressure checks, and other conditions. Through your generosity and participation, Rotary Central Health Check 2020 made the difference to 7 persons, directing them to immediate medical attention and treatment. 240 persons were referred to their physicians for care and guidance. 93 persons were screened as new blood donors, new lifesavers. With your kind assistance, March 4 and March 5, Rotary Central hosted 20 healthcare professionals, physicians, nurses, and pharmacists from 8 countries, including the Cayman Islands. They completed Part 1 training to qualify as Caribbean Certified Diabetes Educators. The Rotary Central Health Check 2020 and the Rotary Diabetes Educators Program, doing our part, helping our community to stay healthy. Remember, keep your distance, keep safe, keep faith, stay home. Rotary Club Central. Together we shall overcome.
The Cayman Islands government would like to remind the public that e-services are available for vehicle license renewal, trade and business licensing, police clearance, and other transactions. Skip the line and apply online. E-services are user-friendly, efficient, and most important, you can apply and pay from the comfort of your home. Visit eservices.gov.ky.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Stay home, Leave Granny alone. Darling child, I mean we can't be visiting our old people because they're more compromised. We gotta keep them safe. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by On Course Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Change your thinking. Change your life. Mastering the art of communication can open doors for you.
As Susie Kassem wrote in her book, Rise Up and Salute the Sun, we cannot control the way people interpret our ideas or thoughts, but we can control the words and tones we choose to convey them. Peace is built on understanding, and wars are built on misunderstandings. Never underestimate the power of a single word, and never recklessly throw around words. One wrong word or misinterpreted word can change the meaning of an entire sentence and start a war. And one right word or one kind word can grant you the heavens and open doors.
Change your thinking. Change your life. These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. On Course Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by On Course Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. On Course Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Pleasant good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 88%. Barometric pressure is 29.99 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 3 knots. Overnight low temperature was 78 degrees. Synopsis indicate light easterly winds and slight seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours. In association with a weak pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area, which are moving towards the northwest. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Your winds will be southeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. And the forecast for tonight calling for pretty much the same partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of late night showers and temperatures dipping to the mid-70s tonight. Your winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 8:46, low tide this afternoon at 9 minutes past 3, and a high tide again tonight at 9:45. The sun will set this evening at 6:44 and will rise tomorrow morning at 2 minutes after 6. And the outlook is calling for moderate southeasterly winds and seas across the Cayman area from Friday morning as the high-pressure system builds over the western Atlantic Ocean. That's the very latest on your weather report.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. Coming from the east and also on the Linford-Pearson Highway, light to moderate traffic flow. And traffic flowing pretty good on Eastern Avenue and Godfrey Nixon Way. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive and also coming from the West Bay four-way stop. And on Edward Street and Shedden Road, things looking pretty good as traffic flowing nicely. And moderate flow of traffic coming off of Bobby Thompson Way as well as on Crew Road. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic report. Have a good morning and buckle up.
Subway is helping to keep Cayman safe by limiting store openings and hours, offering curbside pickup and delivery right to your door. With 3 locations currently open to serve you, Anderson Square in Georgetown, Centennial Towers in West Bay, and Countryside Shopping Village in Savannah. Subway is open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on soft curfew days. Free delivery for orders with a minimum $20 purchase. Delivery times only from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Subway, helping you to enjoy your favorite foods in the safest way possible.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Digicel is all about giving customers more convenience, more peace of mind, and more flexibility. Do more with the new My Digicel app. Buy plans, pay your bill, track your credit, check your data, and monitor your account. It's easy to use and has everything you need in one place. It's time to simplify your life, so go ahead and see for yourself. Download the new My Digicel app today. More made simple.
Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
Now open 9 a.m. till noon. Still delivering island-wide for your convenience. Stay home. Stay safe, Cayman.
A public service announcement from Radio Cayman.
You're pressing for everyone to use their good conscience. Don't be selfish in respecting the suggested distance of 6 feet and the washing of hands constantly. Please check on your neighbors and especially our elderly. Also, persons who have chronic lung disease, diabetes, bronchitis, cancer, or asthma. Check on your family members and isolate them soonest as possible. I ask those persons who smoke until it's clear, please do not put anything in your lungs that are not natural. You may well be increasing your risks. This includes vaping. Self-isolation is very important for our country's ability to bounce back quickly to some normalcy. This disease is not prejudice.
For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/public-health/coronavirus or gov.ky/coronavirus.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLE, Mr. Ezra Miller, and I want to remind you that Mr. Miller will leave us at about 9:30 because he will be going into the LA for the meeting at the Legislative Assembly that will convene with 10 members of the Legislative Assembly plus one person in the chair to consider amendments to the standing orders that will allow the Legislative Assembly to meet in a virtual situation on Thursday as well. Before we went to our headline news, 8 o'clock news, sorry, not headline news, 8 o'clock news, we're talking about the Viewpoint article written by Mr. Miller in the Cayman News Services, on the Cayman News Services website. And you prefaced your article by stating that before I discuss how pension funds can be retained while funding employees in these desperate times, I take a moment to once again congratulate the Premier and his government for consulting and following the advice of the medical fraternity on the handling of the coronavirus pandemic. And I think that in itself is insightful, because what we have seen, I have noticed, and it has been brought by other persons' attention as well, that in those countries where you have the political arm working in tandem with the scientific arm, with the professionals, with the experts, that you're seeing more positive results in terms of fighting the coronavirus situation than you're having when you see that there's a political agenda which is completely opposite to what the scientific agenda is all about. So I just wanted to point that out to our listeners, that you did make that point as well. But if we can go back to your to your article, we have some callers. Okay, since we told the callers to wait until after the news, let's take the callers then. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, O.C.
Morning. How are you, sir?
And I'll keep you too long. I got my time so other people can get it.
Okay.
I just want to mention a few mornings when Arden was on with you. I think that Arden mentioned that they were looking in to paying taxes, some more payments. I mean, they give us $600 for the month of April and fine life. There's some taxi drivers that can sustain themselves, but there's a lot that can't. So where do we stand? You know, I guess most of them run to NAU. I'm 60, so I went to NAU.
Mm-hmm.
They helped me with a food card, you know, so far. And I luckily got my government pension last month, which is only $300 a month, but it's hard to survive on that, you know. But I was wondering if Arden mentioned that morning something about they were looking into that again.
Mm-hmm. But question for you, would some of those taxi drivers not fall into this pension scheme or pension withdrawal that is now being considered? Wouldn't they have access to that option?
I don't fall in it, but that's quite possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite possible there. But then what they should do is survey the taxi drivers and see what they have and which ones need. That's what they should do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because you only got $600 a month and cut me loose. Cruise ships and planes might come in for another 6 months, 8 months, or next year.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically it. Anyway, and you know, the trouble with government is they need to listen to what the supporters tell them sometimes. I fought a battle for 3 years to get a tax raise, right? It took 3 years to get it with the app. They never did it the proper way, right? I asked them to put me on the board as an advisor. I faced the board on my own. No taxi driver knew. I made an appointment. Nobody on the board knows anything about taxes. That's number one. This is why the world is upside down. Put people in a job that knows the job, or get advice from someone that knows the job. You know, that's it. I'm getting a taxi fare here and there. Luckily, I got one this morning. I went down the road to pick up some mangoes. And going back, I saw this little young girl dressed in a health uniform. I'm in a nurse uniform. And she asked me if I was a bus. I said, no, sweet, I'm a taxi. And she says, well, I tried to get to the hospital to work. I have to be there by 7. It was like 20 to 7. And I said, well, I'm a taxi. But I said, the fare there is $35.20 CI. But I said, I'll take you for 10 Cayman dollars to help you out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I took her to the hospital for $10.
Okay, that's commendable.
To get some gas in my car, because I was never greedy. That was never in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still rich because I got my health and strength. But basically, I hope they consider giving us a few more payments for the $600 because some of us really can't sustain ourselves,
mm-hmm.
you know. Anyway, that's my morning.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Very, very, very interesting and useful comments as well. Let's grab another caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yes, I got a question, Mr. Miller. When people pay towards their pensions here in Cayman, we pay in CI, right? The majority of the people, or everyone.
No, there's some companies here that are allowed to pay salaries in the U.S.
Okay, well, those that pay in CI, do they get the same value for their money in U.S. when they get their pension?
Well, the exchange rate CI to Cayman, buying or selling, is fixed by government, so there's no variation in that.
Okay, and if a person retires with $100,000 in their pension, and they spend $2,000 a month, in 4 years that pension's finished. So people have to think seriously about withdrawing from their pension. And the government, this is why I said the concessions were so important to be collected, that they gave away. The billions of dollars worth of concessions that they must have given away. And it was also brought to their attention by the Auditor General.
Caller, we can't. We really don't want to look in the rearview mirror at this point in time. We need to focus on looking ahead and see what obstacles are there. We can't live in the past.
Okay, well, let me finish.
Sure.
Now that we are being warned concerning concessions, I hope the government is going to take it seriously in collecting concessions and don't let it continue to be given away. Hundreds of millions of dollars, even billions of dollars of money to billionaires and millionaires, money that belongs to us, the Caymanian people, and giving this money away to millionaires and billionaires who don't have to worry about a pension. And this money could be going towards Caymanians, that when we retire, we're able to have money that we need when we retire, and stop giving it away to billionaires and millionaires like what they have done in the past.
But you would only have it when you retire if it means that you're going to be relying on the government to support you. Otherwise, those concessions wouldn't normally go into your pension fund anyway. But I want to thank you very much, caller, for that, because we have other callers. But your point is well taken. We should look towards the future now in terms of what we do with concessions and whether or not we need to take that money that we would potentially give away and save it for a rainy day. Let's take the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Connor.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Not bad, and Mr. Elder, to you.
Good morning.
And then the listening public as well. I had a conversation yesterday in relation to the pension payout that the government has proposed. And first of all, I want to say I agree with it, but your caller before the last there highlighted part of what I am concerned about. And that's what I would consider now to be double dipping by individuals who are going to collect their pension and still going to go to NAU to get whatever's available there.
But we would hope and trust that loopholes like that would be plugged and that there's proper surveillance of what is being given out and to whom.
And this was what I suggested. I suggested that the government get to the pension providers now and get a list of individuals. You don't have to get the amount of what they have withdrawn or what they have, but get a list of individuals who have used the provision to get funds from their pension. So you don't have that, because part of what has happened over the years with the needs assessment unit, was always designed to help the most needy in the community.
Right.
But we've also found that there have been people who have been prosecuted for lying on applications. And I think this is one of those instances, knowing now the government isn't making any money, knowing now that a lot of the reserves that we have are probably going to get used up, as this is something now, by all accounts, that's certainly going to last for the next 3 or 4 months minimum. That something like that has been put in place, because I didn't hear that.
Well, let me don't want to interrupt you, Mr. Smith, but the bill that is proposed in section 521.15 requires that all administrators must inform the director of pensions, the regulatory body that government establishes for private pension plans, a list of all applications made under this part. In respect of each application, the following particular, the decision, that is whether it was granted or not, where the application was approved, the amount of each withdrawal, where the application was refused, the reason for the refusal, and any other information that the director may reasonably require. So they are putting in the bill that where they would get that information. Now, based on the experience that we had with people who drew down for mortgage purposes or to buy land, and they were supposed to add 1% to their contribution the first month after they got the drawdown. It would be interesting to see, for the director to get a report on those who drew that down, how many have been repaid by. There is no requirement that I have found in this bill for this money to ever be repaid, and that concerns me.
Well, as I said, and first of all, I want to say in regards to what the government is doing on a whole, and you included, Mr. Miller, because you're all working together, I have supported all of what I've heard up to date.
You know that I have said that I don't support this lump sum cash withdrawal.
Well,
because even I'm going to try to get an amendment to the bill that changes it from a lump sum payment to a monthly payment over a period of time to assist people in managing the money, because I know by myself, I get money in my hand. You know, my grandma used to tell me that I didn't have to worry about getting rich because money burn hole in my pocket, right? I get rid of it too fast, right? So my concern is that the same thing that was just brought up by this taxi, the 600 lump sum sounded like a lot of money when it was granted, but they need more money really, and we're only a couple of weeks into this thing.
A prime example, and first of all, let me congratulate you for being honest, because it is something that a lot of people now struggle with. Thank you for being honest and saying you too struggle.
Oh yeah, listen.
As your grandmother had said.
Yeah. She used to tell me, she said, you know why people are rich? Well, yeah, they have money. Well, you know where they got money? No, grandmother, could they keep it? But son, you don't have to worry about being rich because you don't keep none.
Well, it is, and I'll thanks for the little time here, Mr. Orsi, for me to make this point. This is the last point, then I'll leave.
Okay.
It's exactly what I was driving in a conversation yesterday. That is the single biggest problem that I see that most people have, the ability to manage their finance. And Mr. Miller, yes, I'd like you to argue that point and try to get that put in as well as the other provisions that I've heard. And I totally support the idea of there being some sort of register here so the government has some ability to understand who is withdrawn and who hasn't. And yes, absolutely. I've said that before. We need to, I would prefer to know that this thing is done over an X amount of months as opposed to a lump sum payment.
Yeah, and
those team individuals, in my opinion, a good majority of them are still going to find themselves having to rely on the government, and that is going to become problematic the longer this thing lasts.
Right.
Yeah, that's the other thing. My concern with the $10,000 is it appears to be arbitrary.
Yeah.
What we should be looking for is finding a way to fund people's salary for 6 months.
Yep.
So they keep employed and they get their salary every month for the next 6 months.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much for that. We have to go to a commercial break, and we still have one other caller on hold as well. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Insurance is complicated. Make your life easier and better protected with comprehensive financial solutions from FIS Insurance Brokers, with plans from life, health, property insurance, motor, public liability, and professional liability insurance. Whether you're protecting your family or your business, leave nothing to chance. Understand your options and protect yourself for the future. Speak to your FIS Insurance Broker agent today, located on Shedden Road by MoneyGram, or call 623-5616.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Hello, K-Man. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Stay at home. Stay home. No gadaboutin'. Stay your backside home. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
Do you have questions about your water service? We've got the answer. Keep up to date with what's happening at the Water Authority by checking our website, waterauthority.ky. You can also stay up to date by following our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLA Mr. and Miller. One caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't see you this morning.
No. Normally the show mornings, I can't, until we get back to normal conditions where I can go out at 4:15 in the morning. It's only on the days that I don't have the show that you'll see me.
Yeah. And I didn't see Mr. Miller on his way in early either. Good morning, Mr. Miller.
You didn't see me? Well, I mean, you didn't go to the gym. I didn't mean you didn't go for your walk then, because I came in my usual town during my usual route, but I didn't see you walking.
He's a little bit early now.
Oh, okay.
I was dodging the police.
Oh, you're dodging? Oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
I was walking inside the bush.
All right. Okay. All right.
Mr. Miller, the previous callers kind of touched on what I was going to say, but I got to go a little further, and I do agree with your idea of not giving them a big lump sum. For the fact that I was wondering if there was a way we could suggest how they could spend the money, because I one point out, I wonder if we could put in it that those people that no longer have a job, if the first thing they got to do is buy a one-way ticket back home.
Except they can't get out and the flight's not going.
Yeah, but we need to be able to. When that come about, for them to have a ticket to go back home, because if you all remembered that just before the Premier shut down the money transfer people, the line at Industrial Park was from the counter straight out past the garbage can. With the crisis we got, and you send in what money you have, and then most of the calls that I got, or all the calls that I got about the handout. The one-time handout from government was from work permit holders, so I have a sister-in-law who's status, and she told me that she have a friend here on work permit, and her friend been inquiring about this pension payout because she really want to buy herself an iPhone,
No.
So can you imagine now they get that little lump sum, what they don't send home, then it's spent out, and then we're gonna still be stuck with, even if we give them that one-time payout to help them, but they still gonna be here, and they still not gonna have no money, and they still gotta eat, and they still gotta live in somebody's apartment, and they gonna be here. So we're gonna have a bunch of hungry people here, and you know what happens when a man is hungry? You know what I mean? So we need to, like you say, maybe pay it out in some sort of weekly or monthly payout.
Yeah, what I think is that people need to know they can get their salary the way they were getting it before.
Yes.
So that they were living on that, so they continue living it. And they were all sending a portion of that home. Well, we can allow them to send that portion home.
Right. Yeah, we can allow them to send a portion of it home, but if we get them that lump sum, and then they send all that lump sum home, and then or they buy the iPhone, and then they can still be on my island and be very hungry.
Yep.
Okay. That concerns me. Yeah, you know how that goes. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good one. We have a caller, but I want to share some of the WhatsApp messages that we receive also. And this one says exactly what differentiates the persons working in the private sector without cut salaries from persons working in the public sector. Both subscribe to the private pensions and private health care providers. Why then would the private sector workers whose job have not been cut still qualify to withdraw, and the public sector not?
The first piece of evidence that you have to provide under the proposed law to your pension administrator is proof that you're unemployed. People who are employed will have no ability to draw down their pension.
Yes.
And civil servants will have no ability to draw down their pension because all of them are still employed.
Exactly. Now, what about persons who? So if a person who has already left the jurisdiction but still have private pension fund, they would not be eligible either for this?
There's a provision, and it's a certain members of them to do it. I think if you left since February, the 1st of February.
Okay.
Because there's a subsection of the law that makes it retroactive to April so that people can start getting it earlier, right? Because one of the other things that concerns me is the time period they're allowing administrators to deal with this, which I think needs to be substantially reduced, because 45 days from now, people are going to be, we need something in the next 10, 14 days.
Yeah. Okay. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning to your guest.
Morning.
I think I am against opening the money transfer completely. It's not time to kill the economy of this country. So I think it is not time where people are making money to send money, and it is not time to make this country economy more bad. So I am with the government closing all these money transfer for at least 4 months time, because until the economy recover, and those people who are making money in this country, they should spend it in this country. If they are truly loyal to this country, they should spend it here.
Caller, do you acknowledge that those money transfer entities, not only do they have the ability to send out money, but they also have the ability to receive money as well? It's a two-way street. So we can't assume that when we open them that all of the money is going to be going out. People have shown me evidence where family members overseas want to send them money here, and they're unable to do so as well. So we can't make that wide assumption.
Maybe like you open 2 locations to receive money, not to send money.
Okay.
The second thing is the pension. I think it is very good step the government are doing, that they want to allow something from your pension to help you in this crisis. That's a good step. And I have one last thing I want to say. whoever want to criticize the government or say the negatives, the whatever negative things, I think it is not time for those negative things. We need to stand all, opposition and government together in this country to make us all pass this difficult crisis. I think it's not time for politics. Whoever comes sit down in the radio to play politics, we don't need that in this crisis. We need unity in this country, and we need to see this government lead us to come out of this crisis.
But that's caller, before you go, just this, let you say that while we would not want to criticize, we want to all, be on the same wavelength. Where there are shortcomings, or where a politician or anyone else sees room for improvement, whether it be in legislation or whether it be in government policy, there is absolutely nothing wrong with pointing that out and bringing that to the fore as well. Just want to remind you of that. So while, and we have seen that the opposition, they have been very careful in terms of whatever criticism that they have made of the government, because they realize that we are fighting one common enemy when it comes to this. But very good point. We have to take a commercial break. We have another caller on hold. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, formerly known as Professional Pharmacy, would like to thank the Cayman communities for their loyal support these past 18 years. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care. Thorough background checks and follow-up consultations is only the beginning. Your safety is our concern. Our staff are respected healthcare professionals whose job requires careful and precise calculations. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, where we prepare to provide exceptional care. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we care about your health.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Hello, Cayman. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Social distancing. Well, that means you're to keep a distance of 3 to 6 feet away from the person next to you. Or in layman's term, if you can see the color of the eye next to you, you're too close. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLA Mr. Ezra Miller, and he will be leaving us around 9:30 to head to the Legislative Assembly. We have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning again, gentlemen.
Good morning again, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Orrett Connor.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I noticed about you,
Mm-hmm.
you would sit down, watch a Caymanian starve to death. That's one thing I noticed about you.
No.
That's your. Go ahead.
I can't allow you to say that. I know OC for a long, long time, and there ain't anybody else I know. There may be people who defend and support Caymanians as much as Orrett Connor, but I don't think there's anybody who does it any more than. So I can't allow you to make that kind of statement.
And
that's not fair.
If you think you know me, you really don't. Because if you knew me, you wouldn't make that statement. I would cut you off at this point in time. But I'm going to let you continue to talk. Go ahead.
Well, I said what I said, and I have good reason for saying it.
All right. Goodbye. We have a WhatsApp message here that says, "Good morning. Regarding pensions withdrawals, would also be helpful if pension providers make a statement with updates on their plans to minimize loss of value on the money they manage. 50-year-old person might not need or want to trouble pension, but if money is going to be lost by plan providers, dollars would be safer in a personal bank account." Your views on that, Mr.
But no, one of the things that I've always advocated unsuccessfully is that I believe there has to be a graduation of age, and I think in the time you cross 50, all of your investments should be put in safe investments that you can't lose money on, even though you may not gain a whole pile of interest, right? You can't afford, if you lose money in that period between 50 and the age that you're going to retire, it's very unlikely that if it's invested in bonds, etc., that go down, that they're going to come back and you're going to recover the money. Mm-hmm. So I've always believed that at that stage, those funds should be maintained locally, where we have jurisdictional control over the funds, and in very safe investments locally.
Okay, we want to continue on this topic a little bit more, so people get a better, a good understanding of it. But I also want to talk later on before you leave, because we're only going to have about a half an hour left, in relation to the perception that people have, about the support that is coming from the UK to the Cayman Islands. Yeah. But in the bill itself, in terms of the payout period of time, I think it's something like 45 days. And what people also have to recognize is that the funds, depending on how much they're funds that are maybe already invested, and whether or not there's anything in the pensions law, the private sector pensions law now that requires a certain amount of cash to be available at any point in time.
There is a requirement in the existing pension law that requires a certain amount to be maintained locally, right? The new section 521 requires an administrator, upon being satisfied that the applicant qualifies to withdraw the amount applied for, to approve the applicant's application and issue the disbursement within 45 days of receipt of the application. I think that's too long. I don't think that they should need that kind of time frame, because the only how you could justify 45 days is if they are going to have to organize liquidation of external investments. And I think that the pension plans should be in a financial position to go to the local banks, right, and finance this payment out within 14 days, or certainly within less than 20 days, as opposed to having people have to wait 45 days to do this. And there's a whole slew of waiting periods and that leads up to 21 days and all that before you might get a response in some cases, right? And I think that's unacceptable. There are lots of people here who are not working, that these pension funds can employ, who have knowledge in these areas, who can be used to assist in evaluating these applications. And I really don't think that I think 45 days is way too long.
Okay. And a take on the banking hours that are being allowed and the policy of the banks, because we continue to get messages about it.
I've been to the bank 3-4 times and went back home. I mean, luckily, I'm in a position that I can usually go to the ATM and get what I need, right? But I think more. I understand that CNB, I've seen on social media, only has one branch open. It's in Cayman Bay. I really believe that the government should encourage them to open the Savannah branch, and so you can maintain the social distances and because waiting in line for hours to get to the bank is not a good way to spend your time.
Okay. Yep.
But we all know that the service from banks has been a declining fact of life here over the last 2 years in particular. And the number of tellers that they have out front and all the sorts of stuff to deal with.
One of our listeners wanted to know, can we point out what are the proposed changes to the labor law in these amendments?
Okay, but again, I'm going to run a risk here. Let me see if I can pull it up on my smartphone here. But to my knowledge, the only change that is being made to the labor law is that I think the labor law now says that if you furlough somebody for 30 days or more, it's considered a severance, and you have to give them the severance package. My understanding of what the Premier has said is that what they're doing is they're extending that period to 60 days, right? Because a lot of these people have been laid off or furloughed or out of employment, not receiving employment, because the government has said the business has to close.
Excellent. Okay. Do we have any callers on hold now, Miss Susan? No callers on hold. I'm looking to see if what WhatsApp messages that we may have. This person says, good morning, I am a bus warden for the government school buses. I received notice from my bus operator that this month is the last month that we will be paid. So that bus warden has some concerns about that. Was it? I thought there was some understanding that as long as the bus companies were continuing to be paid, that they would pay their bus wardens as well, or
that was my understanding. As long as the bus companies are continued to be paid by government on a monthly basis, they expect them to pay their bus wardens because that's like, they're getting paid, so their income is coming in. They don't have no excuse to lay people off. I'm looking at the labor law here now. Provide this for service of documents, information, particulars, records, and by electronic means is one of the amendments to change the one clause 4 in relation to different cases of circumstances apply.
Okay. What I'll do, go ahead. I'll let you find that. In the meantime, I just want to say, despite the fact that I am perceived as being one who would want to see Caymanians starve, I think it is important for those employers whose business may be adversely affected in terms of their ability to earn, but if they can assist their employees in whatever way they can, continue to do that, because at the end of the day, they're going to need those employees again. And one of the things that you and I, Mr. Miller, spoke about before we went on air was that when this whole situation is over, it will give the government and the people of the Cayman Islands an opportunity to review the employment situation here, the concerns that we have about unemployed Caymanians, an opportunity for us to get that resolved, as well. And to ensure that Caymanians be employed. But this is the point in time where we have to be our brothers and our sisters' keepers, and we have to look out for others, because we're all in the same boat. And no one can say, well, this one is faking it and that one is faking it, because we see that it is there, that it is happening. Yeah. Top of the hour.
But just the delay, sure. I was correct. That is, gives Cabinet the ability to extend those time periods, and the filing, etc., etc. That's basically all it is.
Excellent. Okay, top of the hour. Headline news at 9 o'clock. Mr. Miller will be with us for another half an hour. Please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back immediately after headline news.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
On a daily basis, making it easy to connect with you, our listeners. Add us to WhatsApp today, 925-3261. That's 925-3261.
Radio Cayman.
Send a text or voice note.
Can I send a request, please?
You don't really have to ask us. Just send a request.
This is a shout out to my ex.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman, maintaining the innovation.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice. For today's biggest news. Access.
Information. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
The Chamber of Commerce continues to offer critical support to local businesses through a series of free webinars themed Supporting Businesses in a Time of Crisis. The fourth one, hosted in partnership with Berman Fisher, is Friday from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. This session will focus on financial assistance and planning in a COVID-19 world. To register, head to caymanchamber.ky. The United States' top health official has warned a second wave of coronavirus cases could be even worse than the first. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director Robert Redfield said the danger was higher as a fresh outbreak would likely coincide with the flu season. The U.S. has seen more than 800,000 cases, the highest in the world. More than 45,000 people have died so far. And the toll from the worst mass shooting in Canada's modern history, a 14-hour rampage over the weekend, has risen to 22. The victims include a 17-year-old, a pregnant healthcare worker, and a veteran Royal Canadian Mounted officer. Authorities are yet to determine a motive for the crime. Police say the gunman knew some of the victims. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record in the studio. With me this morning, MLA Mr. Ezra Miller. He's going to be here until 9:30, and then he heads off to the Legislative Assembly. We've received comments in relation to this before, but I want to repeat this one or read it. It says, "Good morning, Mr. Connor and Mr. Miller. Western Union and MoneyGram, they're closed, but people are still sending out every penny they have, and then they want free rent and a free handout from government. What do you think about that?" Word is now that you have the ability, for instance, if you want to send money to Miami or to any other jurisdiction, in the case of, let's say, U.S. dollars, if you want to send $300 US off, it will cost you 300 CI to send it off. You give that money to someone who's here, they have their colleague in the other jurisdiction who will dispense that money to the family member. So at the end of the day, government, whatever percentage government would get from those transactions, they're not getting it. So people are finding ways around it, as well. The only thing with that is it is a risky endeavor that they're engaging in, because anyhow the person on the other end reneges and does not deliver that money, then you're caught in a bind, in relation to it.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Trust me, the scammers are coming out the woodworks now.
But most people's concern has to do with people who will have money here, send it off, and then become a charge on the government. And what people have to realize is that the funds that the government has, those funds are not unlimited. We're not like the big U.S. of A where we can print money at the end of the day. There are some measures for us. We can go and we can ask the UK to change the ratio in terms of the money that we're allowed to have over a given period of time. We can ask the UK for financial assistance, or we can go out on the commercial market, either internationally or locally, and borrow money and go into a deficit situation. But we don't have too many options, Mr. Miller.
And again, I don't think that it is good long-term planning to expect government to find the money to fund the domestic economy for the next year. Again, I get back to the fact that the money that should be available to us is pension funds, but it must be managed through normal commercial channels under strict protection of the pensioners' money. Mm-hmm. Because the amount of money that is going to need is likely to be substantial. And my understanding is, the latest information I have in terms of the private pension money is that there's well over somewhere around $1.5 billion cumulative in pensions now. And I mean, I don't accept the civil service pension plan either. I think that if they're all, I don't know how much of theirs is invested overseas currently, right? But they seem to be invested in safer, less risky, shall I put it that way, stuff than the private sector pensions maybe. But it is nothing wrong with the civil servants having access to the use of their pension funds for their own wealth growth as well, as long as the funds remain there, but you have access to it through the commercial operations.
Okay, here's one that you and I were talking about this morning before we went on air. This one says, "Good morning. Farmers need to clear pastures, especially the buttonwood pastures. We see work going on at the airport 24/7. What's the difference than clearing pastures? Rain soon come. Cows need the grass. Thanks for your consideration." But I'd want to take that a little further in terms of what we in terms of food production in the Cayman Islands, how we need to look forward to that to make sure that we are at least have some semblance of self-sustenance in the Cayman Islands.
I mean, I give you an example. Like, I called a person that I normally buy fresh chickens from, right? When are you killing it? And he said, well, unfortunately, I don't have any, because the last order of, because what he does, he buy the infant chicks from the agricultural department and raise them and then sell them, right? Mm-hmm. And he had made a proposal for to buy an incubator where he would produce the baby chicks for the agricultural department and the local market, because he already has the eggs, right? And it didn't come through in time. But those are the kinds of things that we need to look at. One of the things that we need to be able to invest in the growth of the domestic economy now is our agricultural sector. And we need to encourage people to put up pig farms, more chicken farms. People who have cattle need to be looking at producing local milk, etc., etc. You remember way back long ago we used to do that, right? So I think we need the government needs to deliberately invest in local food production over the next 6 months. And the only source of that is going to be pension money, or government put some money out some of its reserves in some kind of CDs at banks to allow them, or the AIDB, on strict commercial stuff. I mean, what's wrong with government taking a couple of $1 million out of its reserve and putting it on deposit at CDB at concessionary interest. I mean, 0.5%, but it's on lent to farmers on proper business plans and development plans. And again, you're not giving about no lump sum. This is a business you're going to develop. We are going to help you manage this business. We are going to help you fund it over a period of time until it's successful. We're not going to just give you money to walk away and you can go do something else with it, and you won't be able to make the payments, right?
Okay. One of our listeners has written in and said, "Good morning. I have a concern regarding the payment of mortgages online. Banks do not seem to allow individuals to make mortgage payments online, and in some cases, individuals are not even able to view their mortgage statements or see what their current loan positions are online. If individuals wish to make an additional principal payment, they have to go into the bank. This is all set up in a way to discourage people from paying down their mortgage earlier. In the best interest of the people, I believe it is a change that needs to be made." What are your thoughts?
But listen, I'm not one of those that believes in that internet banking and stuff like that. I'm old-fashioned when it comes to that kind of thing. But those who do it should have full access. I mean, if you have internet banking, you either have it or you don't have it. To have it only for certain aspects of it is just doesn't make any sense.
Okay, we have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you all doing?
Fine, sir. How are you?
Good. I just caught my attention there, Mr. Miller, when you spoke about the farming. Because I got farming in my blood, but I can't get no land to farm on. Now I hear you saying the government should do this, the government should do that. Are you willing to bring forward a motion for all of that stuff you just spoke of?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Another question, that road you promised to, or you're trying to force government to, get government rather, not force, sorry for using that phrase, get government to cut across the land to open up some more farmland between, I think it's Breakers and Northside.
No, we don't want to connect up to the east-west arterial. We just want to open up the farmland. But all the owners up there are asking the government to do is to gazette the roading, and this has been going on for 4 or 5 years. But the government took the National Conservation Board recommendation that we need to do an EIA because we won't build a farm road on farmland. And I've been trying to get that restriction removed so that it can be gazetted, and most of the landowners have all agreed to give the land for free, and they were prepared to try and build the roads themselves by selling the rock, because they put the way they have laid out the road is so that it'll provide access to both parcels of land, and each person giving up 15 feet, and it's on the cliff that you can't grow anything on. It's not down in the farmland, but the people are now saying that the cliff has special biodiversity we need to protect. So, but it is we override the recommendations of them to allow DART to dig up a piece of 7 Mile Beach, but we can't override it for the farmers in the Northside.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No,
farmers is it's a fundamental thing for any developing country or any country at all.
Yeah.
Farming.
Yeah. But we don't take it seriously. We want to offer lip service to it. I mean, and how long I've been trying to get the government. I have written both the Premier and the Minister responsible for roads and planning, and I haven't even gotten the courtesy of an answer.
But I hope that they open their eyes.
I have spoken to them on several occasions, beside writing them, and they've said, yeah, we can deal with it, but nothing is happening. Nobody can tell me what was done, whether the roads were gazetted but can only be built subject to an EIA, or the roads cannot be gazetted until an EIA is done, and how the farmers in Northside can be able to purport any EIA on this cliff. I have even gone to DOE and met with them and said, listen, we need to find a resolution to this. These farmers know this land like the palm of their hand. They have put the road on the least arable land possible, right? And then look at me and tell me, well, I need to understand that up on that cliff there's a certain biodiversity we need to protect. Well, people start dead.
Yeah, well, I hope this opened their eyes because...
Well, I hope so, but I don't think so.
Potentially, we might be starting.
I mean, the last thing I told him is, listen, I'm going to talk to the landowners now that I am connected with and say, listen, we can just build this road. We can just go and push the bush down and build a road. What are they going to do? We'll simply apply for permission after the fact. Like everybody does when they want to take out mangroves.
Yeah. Well, is the road cutting from the north side, or is it tying into any part of?
No. All we have asked for is an extension of the road now that goes in by Willie Farm.
Yes.
Just before you get to Willie Farm, you'll be familiar. On your right, there's the road that goes over to the Borden property, which Mr. George Seymour had built. Mm-hmm. Right. What we want to extend that is probably another maybe a mile, to provide access for several parcels of land up in there that have been farmed for years. My grandparents used to reap 40,000 pounds of white yams every year up in there, right?
Wow.
And the other one is you will remember there was somebody had a goat farm up there that turned off at a seam road on the left.
That is correct, yeah.
We want to take that road and bring it all the way down and come out by Driftwood. So we open up all of that back land down through there and give people vehicular access to the farm, because there's all good farmland down through there.
I know.
Now, the other day when they wanted to build a road to get to the Salinas, right? They didn't need no EIA for that. They just went and pulled down and built it over the cliff.
Yeah.
And up there, and he said, I think they went over some of that, what we call Blue Cliff.
Yeah.
Which is like Hell in West Bay. That's only available. I only known about that being one place. That's the East End.
Someone told me they used to farm somewhere on the north side. They had to go through in the north town, go in the cat boat.
Yeah, people up and around Key.
Some of the prettiest tomatoes up in there.
Well, I mean, we've taken land away from these people on 7 Mile Beach because of the value of the land. We only need 100 feet or 300 feet, but north side they took 1,000 feet from people. And this idea that that swampland, once it's in north side, becomes wetlands, but it remains swampland on 7 Mile Beach. It's ridiculous.
Sure is. Anyway, I just wanted to.
No, I mean, don't get me started, because I could talk about this all. I could talk about this all day.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you all.
Have a great day. Stay safe, folks. We have to take a commercial break. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether it's celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
Vamped Motors encourages everyone to stay home in compliance with our government's directives, which are absolutely critical to protect our islands from the coronavirus. In light of this, Vamped Motors will be closed until our Cayman Islands government gives us the all clear to return to work. Please, everyone, be safe, and let's get through this together by staying apart.
Start getting your debt under control with a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank. At Fidelity, your loan decision is quick with no runaround. Plus, with competitive interest rates and fees, we will help you reduce your monthly payments and get you back to living again. Don't let the burden of overwhelming debt tie you down this year. Call Fidelity today and let's make it happen with a Fidelity Bank debt consolidation loan. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Hello, K-Man. I'm Quincy Brown. Anybody else getting mixed up with all these new coronavirus terms? Me too. But guess what? I've watched the press conferences and I've read the press releases and I've seen all the social media posts. Look here, I can help you out. Essential staff, police officers, immigration, customs, doctors, nurses, first responders, they are essential staff. So if you got to ask, then you ain't. Una got it now? If Una want to stay up to the time with what's going on, there's only one place for the real information, the Cayman Islands government. Visit gov.ky/coronavirus. Now remember, keep washing your hands, keep following the rules, and keep taking care of each other. Saving lives is Caymankind.
For the record with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MLA Mr. Ezra Miller. He's leaving at 9:30, so I'm going to set some very few ground rules right now. We have a caller on hold. We're going to take that caller. After that, we're going to temporarily close off the phone lines to give Mr. Miller an opportunity for some closing comments. After we return from the 9:30 break, we will reopen the phone lines again. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor, Mr. Miller.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good, sir. Thank you very much for asking. Just wanted to say, as usual, very interesting topics of conversation, and in particular, those which address the issues surrounding the fact that we need to come up with new ways of continuing our economy and continuing to make it viable, especially in light of the coronavirus pandemic. But I also wanted to add that this is not something that I would normally even call about, because I don't believe in negativity being spread throughout the airwaves or at all, for that matter. But the person who called making that very negative comment regarding yourself, wanting to or allowing Caymanis to starve was totally out of line, and that comment was totally inappropriate. And I just want to voice my support for you, sir, because I know that to not be the case.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have a great day as well. One of our emails or WhatsApp messages again relates to something else that we spoke about also, people's inability to receive mail. So those who don't have online facilities to know what their bills are, water bills and things of that nature as well. If you could include that in your closing comments, as well as the presence of the the UK.
Yeah, one of the things that I always say, the mail always comes, right? But even in wartime, the mail comes. So I am about disappointed, and I have the receipt of bills, which nobody wants to get right now. But it's also, I'm very concerned, and I had it raised by a very good friend of mine to me last night, and I promised him I would speak to the Premier about it at the first opportunity I get today, is that we have many Caymanians that receive Social Security check, and their livelihood is based on that. And we need to make some kind of arrangements to get the mail brought where these people can get their checks. And I don't know, my understanding was some time ago there was some consolidation of some office in Miami where the international mail went to, and then it was brought to Cayman. Now, Cayman Airways is doing freight flights. They should be able to bring the mail. If not, we should get, the postmaster should get busy and organize a FedEx to pick that up and bring it to Cayman or something, because these people need their mail, going to need their checks. Yes. So I'm hoping that I can get some traction with the Premier this morning when I talk to him about it. And one of the things that I wanted to do before I leave is to give a special thanks to the team in Northside and the government agencies and all those agencies that fund the school lunches. We've had a great success and been able to deliver lunches and food to these people, and I really want to thank these people publicly, because they're doing a great job. Now, a friend of mine called me last night, and one of the things that we admire is people in different countries clapping and praising and appreciating the work that's being done by the frontline people, healthcare. I can give you something to do, some homework while I'm gone. Why don't Radio Cayman organize such an event of people either to come outside and blow your car horn, For instance, pick a time, let's say 6 o'clock every Monday evening, we're going to publicly show our appreciation, and the person suggested the song that Radio Cayman could play, You Will Never Walk Alone. I think it's a great idea. So I can leave that to you and Miss
Susan.
Miss Susan to organize that through Radio Cayman. We could have a special time. Radio Cayman could do a countdown. A 10-second
and we remind
countdown.
people of social distancing and stuff.
Right there, and we build all that into it, leading up to the fact, and then there is an opportunity for everybody to join in and express appreciation for all the hard work that our frontline people are doing. Because let me tell you, it's not an easy job, and they have to be complimented, and they're doing a good job. And even the staff at NAU, who we would not normally recognize in these kind of medical emergencies, right, are doing a great job, and it's a great bunch of people over there. I have a lot of respect and praise for them. So we could praise everybody and show thanks by, like I say, I'm partial to Monday, not really, right? But pick a day, and say, I wouldn't want to do it on a Sunday because that would disturb too many religious people. But maybe a Monday evening or a Friday evening after each week work might work as well. And we say we do that 7 o'clock. Radio Cayman makes all the announcements, do all the public announcements, does a 10-second countdown, and then we're going to blow your horns or clap your hands for a minute or 2 minutes or a couple of seconds, whatever, and then we play that song, You'll Never Walk Alone, afterwards. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think Ms. Susan is telling us that the clapping of hands, has been taking place. And we need something unique for Cayman because unlike places like Italy where you have complexes that are pretty close together and stuff like that, but we're so dispersed that we need to find something else. Now, before you go, we know that after Hurricane Ivan, for instance, there were calls, consistent calls to the UK government to provide security in the Cayman Islands for us. We saw people, work permit holders, foreigners, looting the liquor stores. It was unbelievable that rather than going for food, they were going after the liquor stores. The jewelry stores, Caymanians included, were doing that as well. And the police were simply overwhelmed. Many of them couldn't get out themselves. I know at that point in time, I think Derek Haynes was still in charge of the drug squad. And he and his guys did as much as they could do. So there are times when we need security here in the Cayman Islands. People are extremely suspicious of what these experts are coming from the UK for now. The governor has did his best, I believe, in explaining, why they're doing it. And they have done it in the past, but they have not been as visible, with it. How do we go about reassuring those persons who are skeptical about this that it's really for good intentions and has nothing to do, with any exercise in terms of the UK seeking to establish any sort of military presence here?
But I think part of the shock and the concern of people was the way it was done. There was not. We haven't demonstrated any reason to do this. Every press conference, every day, there is praise for the police, and I agree with that praise. I think the police are doing a good job, right? And they're managing it. Crime is down, like everybody's saying. So why do we need and to say, well, they're going to provide logistics? We're past the point of logistics. We've been doing it here now for 4 or 5 weeks. I would assume that this is something that the National Security Council, would have been discussed, and there would be reasons that they would have given to the governor, or the governor would have given to them for this to take place. I don't know. I think that the press release was seemed to be a reaction to the public, the explosion on social media about concerns, and I think that the press statement leaves a lot, too many unknowns in it, right? I don't know. I don't think the need, if if they were coming as part of the process was to make sure that we had hurricane preparations in place, why the big public announcement? You know, I don't know. It seems to be one of those things that people are concerned about, and we know what have happened in other overseas territories in recent times, and the people need a greater explanation and some assurances that it is not for any ulterior purposes. Yes. I mean, for some of the people who are concerned about it, the fact that one of the things they're going to be doing is advising this regiment that we're setting up, and there are people who have suspicions as to why a regiment is being started in Cayman. And I just think that they need to spend some time and better inform the people on these needs.
Okay, well, one quickie before we go, because I can't answer this, but you with your scientific background would be able to. It says, in regards to the mail, can it be disinfected properly by the post office before distribution? This applies to courier firms also.
Oh, I'm sure they can. I mean, this virus. One of the good things about this virus is the simplicity with which you can disinfect, and it's low resistance to any kind of bactericide and stuff.
And its lifespan on any surface as well.
On external surfaces in particular. I mean, I experienced one of the way the Cubans are doing it when they come in and fumigate the whole room, but. It's I don't know that we would how to do that. So, but I'm sure that those things can be taken care of in the process.
Okay, Mr. Miller, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very
much.
Wish you all the
best at the Legislative Assembly, and look forward to hearing from you again. Folks, please stay tuned. Phone lines will be reopened. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Vamped Motors encourages everyone to stay home in compliance with our government's directives, which are absolutely critical to protect our islands from the coronavirus. In light of this, Vamped Motors will be closed until our Cayman Islands government gives us the all clear to return to work. Please, everyone, be safe and let's get through this together by staying apart.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Can even be less of a safe space during curfew if someone is experiencing child abuse. If you or anyone you know is being abused, help is nearby. For emergencies, call 911. They will redirect your call to the relevant agencies. For general guidelines and inquiries, call the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, MASH, at 1-800-534-2273 or 945-0545. Alternatively, email mash@gov.ky.
This is a public service announcement from your Radio Cayman, your community radio station. Here are some coronavirus prevention tips.
Home isolation means staying indoors and completely avoiding contact with other people. You need to do this if you have symptoms of COVID-19. If you are practicing home isolation, you should stay in a well-ventilated room with a window to outside that can be opened, separate from other people in your home. Keep the door closed and use a separate bathroom from the rest of the household, if available. If you have to share these facilities, regular sterilization will be required. Consider drawing up a bathroom schedule for washing or bathing and have the isolated person using the facilities last.
For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/public-health/coronavirus or gov.ky/coronavirus.
With Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Phone lines are open again and we have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, OC.
Morning, how are you?
Not too bad, how are you?
I'm good. How are things over on that end?
Well, before I get into that, I would really like to say that, I know that you wouldn't let Cayman starve to that,
Thank you.
and I was really sort of appalled by how that caller said that, I know better than that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. OC, yesterday, I had a call from a nice lady. According to her, she works with this establishment.
You're breaking up. The last thing I heard was you got a call from a lady who says she works at this establishment, and I lost you after that.
Yeah, this lady, she called me yesterday. No?
Yeah, you're breaking up. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to get you set up so that we have a better transmission, if possible. We're going to try it. Let's try it now, Miss Susan. Okay. Can we try it now, Miss Susan? Okay. Until we reconnect with that caller, I want to go over some of the statements made at yesterday's press briefing, and in relation to what the governor pointed out. He pointed out that the second British Airways Air Bridge flight will arrive on Tuesday, the 28th of April, and depart on Wednesday, the 29th of April at 6 p.m., with a brief stopover in the Turks and Caicos to collect passengers that are returning to London. He also pointed out that the flight will bring extraction kits and swabs, as well as a number of Caymanians returning to the islands. All those who have registered via the travel hotline will be sent a link to book their tickets. Pets will also be allowed to travel, and details will be provided to those who have registered. Details will be provided in terms of the pets. Says also, as reported the previous day, the flight will also transport a small team from the UK, similar to one already deployed in the Turks and Caicos Islands. The law and order situation is stable, and the governor has confidence in the Cayman Islands' capacity to manage risks. But the present situation is unprecedented. This small military, civilian, and logistics team, so it is a military, civilian, and logistics, a combination of those three, that's comprising the team, will provide support, expertise, and resources to ensure we can manage risks such as curfew handling, the prisons, economic and social factors. The governor also pointed out that the team will also assist in hurricane preparedness, working with hazard management, Cayman Islands, and coordinating with other UK assets. It will consist of medical and security planners alongside logistics persons as well. So, while the part about the hurricane preparedness and working with hazard management seem to be a subset of the things that they will be doing, it seems as if the primary goal is encapsulated in this part of the press release. The law and order situation is stable, and the governor has confidence in the Cayman Islands' capacity to manage risks. But the present situation is unprecedented. This small military, civilian, and logistics team will provide support, expertise, and resources to ensure we can manage risks such as curfew handling, the prison's economic and social factors. So, my take on this is this small team is like an advanced team that will come, look at the situation, review, possibly make recommendations either locally or to the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in the United Kingdom as well, in terms of what is needed, what may be needed in the future if we have to address issues in relation to curfews and the handling of curfews, if we have to address issues in relation to the prison, if we have to address issues in relation to economic and social factors as well. If I am wrong in my interpretation of this, someone please tell me. But it is important. I think this makes it clear here what it is. Now, some people may say, well, let's put that into Caymanese. Let's put that into Cayman language. I have tried to put that into Caymanese for you. It is, I believe, that they are an advanced team coming to assess the situation, make reports locally as well, but I would say first and foremost, report back to the UK for the situation. We have to bear in mind that in previous natural disasters, the United Kingdom has come under severe criticism from governments in the overseas territories and the people in the overseas territories in relation to their response to natural disasters. Let's just look at Hurricane Ivan. Let's just look at Hurricane Ivan and the Cayman Islands in 2004. They were severely criticized for that. People continue to severely criticize them and to use that as an example. I believe that the government that is in place in the UK now is trying to ensure that it doesn't happen again. I do not believe that there are any other ulterior motives than to be in a position to respond to the needs of the Cayman Islands in the event that we have issues as they relate to curfew, as they relate to the prison, as they relate to economic and social factors as well. And in addition to that, we will talk about hurricane preparedness. We will talk about working with hazard management, Cayman Islands, as well. Since we're here, we can do all of those other things as well. We're going to try another phone call to see what the problem may be. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning again, OC. I'm reading you loud and clear.
Morning, good. We're hearing you loud and clear too. Great.
Good, very good. I wanted to say something about this issue with the contingency of soldiers or whatever they are coming to the military.
Mm-hmm.
OC, you just said something there that catch my mind, my attention.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to explain in Cayman terms. You're wasting your time. My friend, you are wasting your time. You know your people more than I do. Okay? And I class...
Even though I'm prepared to make them starve, right?
I mean,
according to the caller.
This is the British colony. It's a British island. They are responsible for our security.
Mm-hmm.
And the Security Council, they can't jump out on the radio and tell them everything that they know secretly or whatever is going to happen down the road. This is an unorthodox situation we have. We have never had this situation before. Completely different from a hurricane. They came there then. Now they want to make sure that nothing goes out of get out of hand in the Cayman Islands, and I don't blame them. I wish they could bring a shipload, actually, because I think you remember back in the old days, well, I won't go that far because that not sound too good, but we had a lot of soldiers used to come here to Cayman. The ships used to visit here. They came ashore. They mingled with us, partied with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, election time. They used to have many times during election time. They would have a warship anchored off, offshore as well.
But it is these. We do not have the authority to even think that we know best for what the country needs for security reasons. That is up to them. They are the professionals. These guys are well trained, and the governor knows. I mean, his office sees a lot coming through there in the daytime, whatever. And I will say this about him: he's doing a phenomenal job. And thank you, Mr. Rupert, if you're listening. I thank you very much for what you're doing. You, the premier, and everybody else out there that involved with keeping us informed with this situation. And again, I'll go back again. I'll see. I don't know, my friend. I've seen this a long time about our people. Okay? And I don't want to say no more because I might get some enemies. So thank you again.
Thank you.
I'm hearing you loud and clear, and I'll keep listening.
Thank you very much, caller. We're going to take our last commercial break for the morning, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Sending money to your family overseas shouldn't be a full-day process. Stop waiting in lines. MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide, offering 3 convenient locations: Shedden Road, Baden Water Sports in West Bay, and at FIS Brack Agency in Cayman Brack. MoneyGram by Financial Integrated Services. Visit fiscayman.com for more information on MoneyGram services. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
We all know there's nothing more refreshing than the taste of an ice-cold Coca-Cola straight from the cooler.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Whether you're celebrating a birthday, promotion, or just a great meal, make each moment a Coca-Cola moment.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Make sure you ask for the unforgettable flavor of a classic Coca-Cola.
A public service announcement from Radio Cayman. Coronavirus prevention tip. What is coronavirus? The novel coronavirus, COVID-19, is a new strain of coronavirus that has not been previously identified in humans. What are the symptoms? Common symptoms include respiratory symptoms of fever, cough, shortness of breath, breathing difficulties. In severe cases, coronavirus can cause pneumonia, severe acute respiratory syndrome, and kidney failure. How soon do symptoms occur? Symptoms occur 2 to 10 days after a person has been exposed. Is there a vaccine against coronavirus? Currently, there is no vaccine to protect against COVID-19. When a disease is new, it takes up to a few years for a new vaccine to be developed. For information, you can email questions to flu@hsa.ky or call one of the hotline numbers of 1-800-534-8600 or 947-3077. For the latest updates and information, please visit hsa.ky/coronavirus.
For the record, with Orrett Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. Just want to, the last section in relation to the governor's comment at yesterday's press briefing. He also pointed out that this deployment is a strong signal of UK support for the Cayman Islands, and the Cayman Islands Defense Regiment will work together closely with the new arrivals as well. So, like I said earlier, the UK is seeking to fulfill its obligations that it has as the administering entity for the Cayman Islands and other overseas territories, as well. They have been resoundingly criticized in the past for their lack of response or slow response to natural disasters, and they're attempting to ensure that does not occur again. We have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Peter Schmidt here.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm not bad. And yourself?
I'm fine, thanks. Thank you, sir.
Good. Are you still riding?
Yes, I rode yesterday morning.
Okay. I just wanted to make a comment. I'm doing some riding as well and alternating with walking. And so does my family. And the most regrettable decision that I wanted to sound off about so far has been the prohibition of being able to drive to your point of exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think in the beginning it was justified by the Commissioner of Police by saying that it was difficult for his force to determine who actually was going to exercise and who was just driving around.
Right.
Because of dress code, etc. Now, on that point alone, let me say this. To my understanding, the Commissioner of Police had at his disposal the police force, which I think numbers in nearly 500,
mm-hmm.
and the Department of Customs and Border Control officers, which I don't know how many of them are seconded to the police. He's got the special constables, and he's got, I believe, for some duties also some personnel from private security firms.
Right.
Quite an army.
Mm-hmm.
Quite an army. And I believe it should be possible for them to determine who is going to exercise and who is not. And I'll tell you why. I live at Northwest Point, as you probably know,
mm-hmm.
and I go out there in the morning and exercise. I usually start around 6:30 or so, and the road is chock-a-block with people. Okay, then I go riding, and the Esterly Tibbetts Highway is full of people as well.
Yes.
So physical distancing is almost impossible. Okay, and now I have some alternate routes that I would like to drive to and walk off the beaten track where there are no cars and not too many of other people, because it would spread out. And so I really regret the measure by the Commissioner of Police, which I think he classified as a police direction or a police requirement
mm-hmm.
to not be able to drive to your point of exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my beef for the morning. I'm not saying other family members have some others.
Yeah, but do you his concern also was that people basically were abusing it, and one of the intentions really was to keep as much traffic off the roads as possible.
And I totally understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that. But I would say that in this particular case, the cure is worse than the disease.
Yes. Okay.
Because even if you are in a car and you're driving, you are physically separated from others,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Unless you stop somewhere and get out and congregate with other people.
Yeah.
So that was my comment this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schmidt, for that. And just to add to that as well, it is really commendable to see the number of people who are on the roads exercising, whether it's cycling, whether it's walking, whether it's jogging. And I would hope and I would trust that people will find time in their busy schedules when we get past this COVID-19 situation to continue to do those things, to set aside a part of your life that will take care of your personal and physical needs that you have, and not concentrate on work. Also, for those of you, and I've seen this on the bypass between the roundabout at the Yacht Club and all the way down to the road, Badabanu Road. There are cycle lanes and walking lanes there. But some people, in their attempt to ensure that there's social distancing, they are walking against traffic, but they're walking in the traffic lane, not in the walking in the cycling lane, but in the traffic lane. That is extremely dangerous. Please don't do it. Also, I do realize that stores are closed. Some people were not prepared for this as well. But please, please wear bright colored clothing when you're out there. If you have any sort of flashing light that you can hold in your hand or place on your garment, please do so as well. You have to ensure that you are safe when you're either walking, running, on cycling, or cycling on the roads as well. Before I close, I must read this comment from one of our listeners, and this is a shout out to the Public Service Pensions Board, and it says, "Thanks for calling me to check on me and my husband and give us contact numbers. This is much appreciated. Something positive for sure." And I must say again that our Public Service Pension Board, they have always been there. I recall again after Hurricane Ivan, they were out there looking at their pensioners, providing things wherever they could as well. Now, some people may say, and first of all, I should declare an interest in terms of the Public Service Pension Board. I am a pensioner, as well as I sit on the Public Service Pension Board representing pensioners. So I will declare an interest. But some may argue and say, well, is that within the remit of the Pensions Board? Aren't they there to mention, to manage pensions, to ensure they're distributed properly in accordance with law and all of those things? Yes, but there is a human side as well. And we have a director, managing director there, and her staff who believe in Caymanians. They believe in Caymankind. They believe in looking at their clients, ensuring that the welfare of their clients are first and foremost in terms of the actions that they're taking. And we're seeing that resonating now by someone sending an email wanting to give a shout out and want to thank the Public Service Pensions staff for getting in contact with them, giving them contact details, as well. That is extremely commendable, and we hope and we trust that there are other organizations that are doing so as well. I want to again hammer home at the banking community in the Cayman Islands. People are crying out for more service, for better service. We understand your concerns about social distancing and everything else. People are calling on CNB, for instance, to open the store, their branch that is in the Savannah area, Countryside. That was what I was trying to remember. Countryside Shopping Center, to open that. Yes, we recognize that that is a small location. There may be concerns about social distancing, but social distancing can be practiced there as well. I think more and more people are being attuned to the fact that the social personal distancing is a part of the combination that will work here in the Cayman Islands as works elsewhere as well. We don't have a vaccine, we don't have a cure, so we have to, for the COVID-19, so we have to do all of these things in order for us to be successful as well. But people are crying out to you. if you can't do what they're asking, then at least come out and say what it is you can and you can't do, and show some empathy for the people of the Cayman Islands and for your customers, because they are crying out. They are crying out for better service from the banking community. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. Also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I want to remind you that the proceedings at the Legislative Assembly will be carried live on Radio Cayman, 105 Breeze 105.3 FM, and there are other C3 and Logic and several others. I can't find the okay, here it is. I want to make sure that I give it to you. You can listen on Radio Cayman's Breeze station 105.3 FM, or via cable from Logic channel 23. You can watch it. C3 channel 3 and Flow channel 106 as well. Also want to remind you that you should continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. FIS MoneyGram, the safest and most convenient way to send money worldwide. MoneyGram, bringing you closer. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only two species that we have here on Island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
For today's biggest news.
Access.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman.